So again, welcome to the WorkPoint 365 version 3.1 release. It has been released for some 10 days now. And hopefully you've all seen the release notes. I'm going to go through the new features and some examples of how to use them. We have 3 items we want to go through today. It's where it looks like it might not be a very big release. Actually, these features are very powerful, so there's a lot of work behind what we're demonstrating today, and actually a bit of it has already been released earlier in different versions, but now we have a complete setup. So we have action management, we have wizard management, and we have document exchange management. A lot of managements here, where you can say document exchange management is not a feature and in the usual meaning of the word, as in here is something that you can click on and things will happen. Document management is more a concept where you can create by using the 2 other features, action management and wizard management, which are very much features in the sense that they can be used and configured to certain things in the administration module. So let's just jump through this. Some of this might have been announced before when we had release 3.0 recently, but I just want to go through so make sure that we are all on the same page. We have had slight name change on the action management since last time, but basically what it is the ability to manage content on individual sites, on individual module sites. You probably all know that all the modules have master sites that kind of defines how the module are working, and that is what we're used to control this. So now you can, with this action management, you can define items on the master side. That can be anything from documents, emails, tasks, other things that should be moved to individual module sites based on events or triggers, manually triggered as well. So it's a fairly powerful thing, and I'll give a few examples, and we're also going to demonstrate how it can be used. It's not something that's, for those of you who are consultants, it's not something that you just start up working with, because it's fairly advanced. So you will need some extra training to run with this. But when you can do that, it will be a very handy tool. Example for use of action management could be when you have specific stage-related tasks on a site. Let's assume we have a specific process for managing a case, and when the case goes into stage X, there are a number of things that need to be carried out by certain users. So you can create tasks that need to be published on a case side when the case goes into a specific stage, and you can even assign those tasks to specific users in the process as well. So it's not just empty tasks that somebody needs to pick up, it's actually assigned to certain named users. You could also do other simple things like sending an email alerting the site or the case creator that now the state has changed, or other people involved in this. You could also have specific documents created on the site. The example where you are basing the event on a field. When you have the quality field populated with poor, a report template might be pushed to the site, and the quality team will be asked to fulfill this report. So there are a number of different ways you can use this action management, and the important difference from what we've previously been able to do, where when you replicate the stuff from master site to individual site, you basically synchronized everything. you could do a little bit of change, but here you can manage a lot of items independently on each individual site from module to module. So quite powerful. It'll take some a little looking into it to get up to speed for those of you who are consultants. But as I said, we'll help with that. So that's the action management. I'll give you an example of how to use it later. The other thing we're having here is the wizard management. Now, you all know that we have had a number of wizards in the system for a while, quite a while actually, for creating documents, for example. But this has now been expanded to a configurable framework, which will be developed further in the time to come. But now you can set up wizards that will help the user go through a process. An example could be copying documents between modules, and I'll exemplify that. Or it could be creating an entity from email. That's been possible for a while, but it has not been that easy to configure as it is now. So helping users doing the right things by getting them a wizard that will walk them through a certain set of tasks is what you can use the wizard framework for. Let's just have an example of what I mentioned, creating an email. Creating an element, a project from an email, and saving it all in the process. This is not a new feature, but I'm pretty sure that a lot of people haven't really noticed that it's there. But from within WorkPoint Express in Outlook, you can set up this wizard. So when you're in your email and having received an email, in this case, an email with the title demonstration, you can click the wizard icon in the ribbon in your mail, in your Outlook, and you will receive this little pop-up. It says, as you can see, save email on a project. What it does is that the system recognizes the email that has been sent from, in this case, Andy, and it can see that Andy is connected to the Wilson Sports Equipment, which is in this case an active customer, and the system then displays here the projects related to this specific client. So it already knows that Andy is involved with Wilson, and Wilson has some projects here. So I can now choose an existing project and say this mail needs to go on this project, or I can create a new project if I prefer to do that. If this is a new thing I need to create, and of course this is an example with a project, but it could be a complaint, it could be another case, it could be request, could be a lot of things that is coming in via email, and you want to action something in WorkPoint, create new things or update things based on the content in the email. So in this case, we click create new project, and I get the create. The fields to add to fill in to create a new project, and you can see that it has already taken the subject from the email and added that to the title, and it has also taken the content from the email and adding that to a description field. These fields can be configured in the wizard. Where does this information need to go? And then I can manually fill in the rest, and then click save. And now we will then create the project, but then it will ask me, this email that you are basing this on, where do you want that stored? So do you want it stored in the email library? Yes, that would be obvious. So it defaults to that. I can choose a folder just like any other situation, and these three dots here will allow me to edit the properties of the email before I add it to my system. So if I need to change the metadata, I can do that here. This one shows me there are no attachments, but if there were attachments to this email, they would also be saved, and you would be able to choose where to save these as well. So that wizard will walk me through finding the project or creating a new one and adding the content from the email to the site. And eventually, when I've done this, I click save, I will end up with my customer Wilson Sport Equipment, the project, a new one called demonstration. These were the two old ones. And the email demonstration is actually already stored there when I've created this. So this is one of the things the wizard can do. But more important is what the wizard can do when we're talking about the document exchange management. So let's skip to this one. What we call document exchange management is the ability to have users package and select documents or emails, images, or other files from sites in WorkPoint 365 and copy them or move them, convert them to PDFs or copy them as links to other sites. This could be to other entities in the same module, but it could also be to other sub-entities in other modules. And this can be used in quite a few scenarios. Here are some examples. Those of you familiar with project work knows that sometimes they use something called transmittals in larger projects, where they need to package a set of documents to a package to transfer for some to review or for information or other way need to distribute to stakeholders. And these documents need to be locked down, and they need to be sure which version is sent through, and you need to have a record of this. All of this can be done using document exchange management. A similar setup is where you have project deliveries that need to be reviewed. When you go to a certain stage in a project or a case and you have a large bunch of documents that need to be reviewed by other subject matter experts, you can package together all these documents and create a review and move these documents, or rather copy these documents in a specific version to a sub-site, for example, a review site, and then they can be reviewed by subject matter expert, and they can add comments to whatever they need to, and then it can be locked down that this review has been completed. Typically, there will be a review report. But finding the documents and moving them to a specific site where they can be worked on further is what you can do. Due diligence is another example. And the right to access, or what is in Danish called aktindsigt, is another setup here where you want to have certain documents and you want to be able to track that these document has been delivered to, let's say, a journalist that requires the right to access, or somebody else. You can then document that at this point in time we have packed documents and in these versions of the documents and sent them on to this specific person or persons. So using the combination of action management and vision management lets you create these kind of scenarios, and that will be quite powerful in a lot of situations. So let's see what we have of examples. As I said, right of access. What you should know about this is that this feature requires that your solution is on modern UI. It's not possible in SharePoint Classic mode, so you will have to have your WorkPoint upgraded to modern UI, which should be fairly manageable task. If you contact your WorkPoint partner, they will help you with that. But this example where we have client cases and we exercise the right to access. So the example here, I'm going to show you a little video. The example here is that we have some clients and we have some client cases. In this case, you're looking at a modern UI, obviously. Johnson Machines is the client, and the client case here is the important Johnson case. So what we have here is, of course, some basic data on the case. I have a document list with some Word, Publisher, PowerPoint documents in it. And what is happening now is that we're going to move some of those documents to a right to access. Let me see how this works. So, as I said, we're in Johnson and the important Johnson case. Now I'm going to select some of these documents and note that the line will change. So we have this line up here is changing as we click. And clicking more, I will have fewer or more options. So now I've selected the documents that I want to send to and to lock down. And now I'm going to choose my Send To button. The Send To button will give me the wizards that I can choose from. Now here's only one document package, but I could have multiple wizards popping up when I said Send To, depending on what I've configured on my client case, if I want to be able to do other things with the documents. But this case, I will select documents and lock them down in a package. Moving on, I'll click on that one, and it will initiate a wizard that's been configured for this. So this wizard will default to the module called Document Packages. Document Packages is a submodule to the client cases. It'll show me here. And then I can search for already existing document package, because it could be that I wanted to add these documents to an already existing package, or I could create a new one. So if I do a little search for a document package, nothing comes up. It'll show me all of it. Now I want to create a new one, so I click the plus down here, and then the wizard let me create a new package, which I will name, and I can add a number of data to it. I simply just want to save it, and in this process now the wizard will show me the documents that I've selected. It'll show me that they can be copied as PDFs. It'll also show me that the publisher document is not supported to create as PDF, so that will simply be moved as a copy. I can choose to have copy or PDFs or links for all of them, or I can do it individually on each of the files. So I choose to have a copy here and a PDF there and a copy for the PowerPoint presentation. The publisher document I don't need to change; it'll be moved anyway. I can't convert it. So clicking the copy document will now start the process. It will copy the document, and it will in the same process create the new document package site in the module. So now I've moved, the system will move me to the document destination. So as you can see now I am in my new package 123. I'm under the important Johnson case, and here are my documents that's been copied. And as you can see, one of them is a PDF, not a Word, because I asked the system to convert that. So quite a simple process for the user, but very powerful for the system. Now, obviously, when you're here, you want to be able to do some more treatment on this package of document, because right now what we've done is only copying the selected document and created a new package. But what you also want to do is you want to make sure that these documents are locked down. You can do this in a number of ways, and it's a little hard to demonstrate here when you can't see all the settings. But what I've created in the background is a action management that when I change the stage, it will lock the documents by removing all the rights to edit them. So they will simply be locked with only read rights for any other user. I could also use the SharePoint records management functionality to lock these documents down as records. That's another option. And what I also could do is I could automate a send on feature. So I could create another action that would, when I, for example, created simply by creating a button here up here to send the documents to the recipients, or I could have this automatically happening when I change the stage, that all of these documents would be packed together in an email and sent to specific recipients. This is also possible to automate this. So there's a lot of options here. In this case, I simply just created the feature that will lock down the document by removing the edit rights when I'm moving from one stage to another. So simply changing the stage will remove the rights and lock the document. And obviously, as I said, that's very hard to see when you're not seeing the security settings, but trust me, it is happening. So And as I said, I could also have this published by an email, or I could have an alert set off to somebody else that now we have created this package and it's all ready and it's all shipped. So that was just a very brief example of how the sorry, how the document exchange management can work and what you can do with the new features, with the wizards and with the action management. There are a lot more options with these features, and I'm more than happy to answer questions if you contact me. Managing and controlling access to documents and other files can be used in a number of ways. You should note that these new features, action management and wizard management, are add-ons to the existing licenses. They're not included in the existing licenses, so please contact WorkPoint Sales for a price if you're interested. And with that, I hope that you got a little idea of what powerful tools we're out now with the version 3.1. And as I said, please contact me for more information if you require. I'm more than happy to answer questions and put you in touch with people that can help you if you need upgrade or anything else. So thank you very much for listening today.